Beginning. The first salute. Most human soldiers didn't expect to meet an alien officer who saluted them first. And Lieutenant Marcus Hale certainly didn't expect it to happen in a shattered trench on a planet humans hadn't even heard of 2 years prior. The battlefield smelled of burning metal and wet soil, a thick fog rolling through the cratered ground. The sky of Varkesh 4, once a calm lavender, now flickered from artillery blasts far beyond the horizon. Marcus wiped grime from his visor and lifted his rifle. Motion, 7 meters. East trench line. His HUD flickered. No friendly signatures. He took slow steps toward the broken ridge, pulse rising. A soft metallic click echoed. A figure emerged, tall, armored in obsidian plating, the faint bioluminescent lines of her species pulsing along her cheeks and temples. A Carthy. Enemy. The war had raged for 13 months. Humans and the Carthy had killed thousands of each other. Marcus raised his weapon, but she raised her hand first. Not to strike, not to blast, but to salute. A clean, sharp gesture across her chest. Her voice, though strained, carried the unmistakable authority of a trained officer. You are human soldier. Yes. Marcus stared, confused. His weapon wavered. Lieutenant Marcus Hale, United Terran Forces, he said cautiously. Identify yourself. The alien woman straightened, despite the clear limp in her right leg. I am Commander Sarah Talcor, 3rd Fleet, or what remains of it. Marcus hesitated. Her armor was cracked, dark blood staining one of the plates. She'd clearly been in a fight, maybe with other humans. Sarah pointed to the fallen ridge behind her. My unit perished. All of them. I alone survived the blast. So why salute me? Marcus asked. Her glowing amber eyes softened. Because my father taught me, when in doubt, greet with honor first. A true warrior lets their enemy know they face someone worthy. Marcus blinked. That was not the kind of philosophy human generals attributed to the Carthy. He lowered his rifle a fraction. Your father sounds wiser than most. She gave a small, pained laugh. He was. And he would scold me for showing weakness now. Marcus scanned the area. If your unit's gone, what's your objective? She met his gaze directly. To stop this war before it consumes both our species. He froze. That doesn't sound like a typical Carthy goal. Sarah shook her head slowly. It is not, but it must be someone's. Marcus didn't know it then, but this was the moment everything began to change. The moment a human soldier and a Carthy commander stood together. Not as enemies, but as two exhausted beings who wanted the killing to stop. Middle, the mission they didn't choose. The distant rumble of artillery echoed through the trenches. Marcus checked his comms, still jammed. The Carthy's jammers were powerful, but someone had clearly turned them up far too high. Perhaps intentionally. Sarah leaned against the trench wall, breathing unevenly. Marcus crouched beside her. You're injured, he said. Carthy physiology is durable. I will manage. You're bleeding. Durable, she repeated, but it didn't sound convincing. Marcus pulled a medgel pack from his kit. Hold still. Her eyes widened. You would help me? Would you prefer to collapse and get captured? Or worse? Silence. Then she nodded once. As he applied the gel, she winced but didn't make a sound. You humans, she murmured. I was told you were unpredictable, emotional, reckless. Most of the time, yeah. A faint smile tugged her lips. Yet you show compassion to an enemy. Maybe, Marcus said. You're not my enemy right now. Sarah studied him, as if trying to solve a paradox. My father used to say, The bravest warriors are those who choose mercy when blood calls for vengeance. Smart man. He died in a war he did not want. Marcus nodded slowly. So did my brother. Another silence passed, heavier this time. Two soldiers from opposite worlds sharing the same grief. Suddenly, Mara pattern drones hummed overhead, human scout drones. Marcus grabbed Sarah, pulling her deeper into the trench shadow. Stay down, he whispered. The drones scanned the area, then drifted away. Sarah looked at him in disbelief. You hide me. You risk being charged with treason. Maybe, Marcus said. I'm tired of orders that don't make sense. He took a steadying breath. What's your plan, Commander? She hesitated, then spoke softly. My fleet discovered something before the battle. A weapon not built by my people. Something ancient. Something neither of our species can control. Marcus froze. A superweapon? Yes. And our leaders, both Carthy and human, seek it blindly. Where is it? Beneath the ruins to the west. Today's assault? A distraction. The Carthy High Council and your Terran Command both sent special units to seize it. Marcus processed this, jaw tight. So, if either side gets it, they will use it, Sarah said grimly. And billions will die. Marcus exhaled. And you want to destroy it? I want us to destroy it, she corrected. Because alone, neither of us will succeed. Marcus didn't answer immediately. He knew the stakes. He also knew the cost of disobedience. But he also remembered his brother and the war that took him. He extended a hand. All right, we stop this together. Sarah looked at his hand, then saluted. A Carthy gesture this time, palm across the chest in a spiral motion. My father would approve, she said softly. Then she took his hand. The ruins of Corvashduan, they traveled through abandoned trenches, ruins, and scorched forests as midday faded to ash-colored dusk. The ruins rose like jagged teeth from the ground, ancient stone mixed with alien alloys older than either species. Strange glyphs pulsed faintly with residual energy. Marcus scanned the entrance. Two squads, one human, one Carthy, were already inside. Great. Looks like both sides beat us, he muttered. Sarah placed a hand on the stone wall. These ruins are not Carthy. They predate our earliest histories. Any idea who built them? No. But whoever did feared what they created. She stepped forward. Marcus caught her arm. Wait. You're injured. Let me go first. No, she said firmly. This is my responsibility. Marcus shook his head. My responsibility now too, remember? She blinked, surprised at the conviction in his voice. Then nodded. Together then. They slipped inside. The ruins pulsed softly, like the slow heartbeat of a sleeping giant. Harsh voices echoed ahead, human and Carthy soldiers shouting, fighting over something. They crept closer until they saw it, a massive sphere floating above a pedestal, swirling with energy like a contained storm. A singularity core, potentially galaxy-ending. Sarah whispered, if destabilized, it will collapse the entire star system. Marcus gritted his teeth. And our leaders want to weaponize this? Power blinds. The room erupted with gunfire as humans and Carthy clashed violently. Marcus and Sarah exchanged a look. No time for diplomacy. They sprinted toward the pedestal. A Terran officer, Captain Marlowe, spotted Marcus. Hail! What the hell are you doing with her? Marcus aimed his rifle. Stopping you from doing something stupid. You're aiding the enemy. No. I'm preventing genocide. At the same moment, a Carthy warlord lunged at Sarah. You disgrace your bloodline. Siding with prey. Sarah blocked his blow but stumbled, still weakened. Marcus fired, forcing the warlord back. The entire chamber descended into chaos. Marcus shouted to Sarah, "Do we destroy it?" "We can't, but we can seal it permanently."
How?
She pointed to the ceiling, a series of energy conduits. The ruins contain a safeguard, but it must be activated manually. 2 points. Far apart. Marcus nodded. "You take the left. I'll take the right." She saluted. "For the future of both our people." They split. The cost of choosing peace, Marcus dodged plasma fire, sliding behind a fallen pillar and firing bursts to cover Sarah. She moved with surprising grace despite her injuries, activating her conduit panel. A blast hit the wall beside Marcus, showering him with debris. Captain Marlowe aimed again. "Hail! Stand down." "Can't do that, sir. You're betraying your species." "No," Marcus shouted as he sprinted toward his control panel. "I'm saving it." He slammed his hand onto the pedestal. Energy surged. The ruins began to vibrate. The Singularity core pulsed violently. Sarah yelled across the chamber, "Now, Marcus." Both hands on the panel. On it. The conduits lit in sequence, channels of light racing across the ceiling to the core. Everything grew louder, like a storm collapsing inward. Sarah looked up and shouted, "We must hold until the cycle completes." "How long?" "Long enough to regret this." Marcus laughed breathlessly. "Too late for that." A Carthy soldier charged at Sarah from behind. Marcus didn't think. He sprinted, tackled the attacker, and fired a stun round. Sarah stared at him, eyes wide. "You saved me." "Again," Marcus grinned. She touched her chest in a solemn Carthy gesture. "My life is yours." "Let's live long enough to argue about that later." The ground shook violently. A white explosion of energy engulfed the core. Then, silence. The core collapsed inward, sealed in a stasis field strong enough to hold it for millennia. The ruins dimmed. It was done. The weapon was neutralized. The war's greatest prize was gone. Ending, her father's last teaching. Marcus and Sarah stepped outside the ruins as dawn broke, the sky a quiet lavender again, as if the world itself exhaled. Human and Carthy reinforcements arrived, weapons raised, but both sides hesitated upon seeing Marcus and Sarah standing side by side. Marcus raised his hands. "Stand down. The weapon is sealed." A Carthy officer shouted, "Impossible." Sarah stepped forward, voice calm but commanding. "It is done. This war ends today." Captain Marlowe growled, "On whose authority?" Sarah answered first. "On mine." Marcus answered second. "And mine." Their soldiers exchanged uncertain looks. Marcus took a deep breath. "This war almost ended all of us. We stopped the weapon, and we did it together." "What does that tell you?" Silence. Sarah looked at him, then lifted her hand to her chest. The salute. The same one she'd given when they first met. Marcus returned it. Her voice grew quiet, just loud enough for him to hear. "My father used to say, the universe does not change when a warrior is born, only when a warrior chooses a different path." Marcus swallowed. "He sounds like someone I would have liked." She nodded slowly. "You remind me of him." It hit Marcus harder than he expected. Behind them, troops from both sides slowly lowered their weapons, uncertain, but willing to wait for orders. The first step toward peace. Marcus glanced at Sarah. "So, what now?" She looked toward the rising sun. "Now," she said softly, "we show them that trust between enemies is possible." "Together?" "Together," she said, "as warriors who chose a different path." Marcus extended his hand. Sarah took it without hesitation. And as the dawn warmed the battlefield, a human soldier and a Carthy commander walked side by side, proof that war could end not with victory, but with courage. The courage to salute first, and the wisdom to remember what her father used to say.